Hello and welcome to another Camel's Hump Middle School video screencast. In this episode we are going to be importing your PNG file that you exported from Gravit. We're going to be importing that file into our Boss Laser laser engraving software, doing a little bit of prep work and getting it ready for the machine. So the first thing you need to have done is finalize your work in Gravit Designer. This means that you have gone through the previous video tutorial, resized your design work, and exported it as a large PNG file. That should be waiting for you in your Downloads folder. Your next move is to bring your mouse and to click on the RDWorks V8 program. Some of you have an icon that looks like this. Some of you have a different icon that looks like a black box and a red box. Either way, it's going to be called RDWorks V8. Open up that program and here's what you get. Some of you have used the software before, some of you have not. Really doesn't matter. I'm going to run you through all the introductory steps right now. First thing we need to do is we need to resize this canvas to match the size of our cutting board. You should have those dimensions already. If you do not, or it could be any project, it doesn't have to be a cutting board, but this needs to match the surface area of the project you're going to engrave, and we're talking the entire surface area. So for the sake of my cutting board, I'm going to set it to 300 millimeters wide and 175 millimeters tall. Here's how to do it. Bring your mouse up here, click Config, come down to Page Setting. You're going to have page width and height set for you. They should be in millimeters already. Enter in your digits right here, whatever they might be. All right, just be careful you're putting the width where the width goes and the height where the height goes. Click OK. All right, that looks better. Now, a couple basic mouse controls. Scrolling the wheel is going to zoom you in and out. Clicking the scroll wheel is going to enable you to pan back and forth. This is two-dimensional software, so unlike Tinkercad or Kodoo or things like that, there's no three-dimensional view on this. Next thing we need to do is import our file. So we're going to come up to here. This is our file import button right here. Import. You're going to want to navigate to your Downloads folder. So if this doesn't say Downloads, drop down that menu, click Downloads, and you're going to scroll down through until you find your file. Mine just happens to be my fantastic cutting board. I'm going to open that up, and as you can see when I do that, notice these blue arrows right there? Those blue arrows indicate the top right corner of my canvas. So imaginary line coming across. My canvas that I just set is right here. And so actually, if I just grab onto this image, you can see my canvas is down here. This is the size of my cutting board. Now it makes sense. The Gravit export we exported it's massive, guys. It's huge. But all we need to do is resize it to fit inside of our cutting board. And you have some choices here. Okay? We can either grab onto a corner and manually shrink it down. Or you can come up here and you can actually see the dimensions of your of the image right here. Okay? I would suggest just grabbing a corner, shrinking it down, and then placing it on your cutting board. Let's zoom in a little bit. And you have some cool tools up here. These allow you to place things in corners, bottom corners, right in the middle. Okay? You decide where you want to place it. If you're going to go for a corner, I would suggest putting it in a corner and then using your arrow keys to kind of nudge it in a little bit if you're going to do like a little tiny engraving in the corner. We don't want to send things all the way out to the edge because we are going to be routing in the shop those edges off. So we want to give ourselves a little bit of room. This one's going in the middle, so I'm going to click it right there. I'm happy with that sizing. I think that looks good. Now we need to set our speed and power parameters for this. Speed and power that the laser is going to be running at. Your teacher is going to have a specific speed and power that they want you to use. Ask your teacher what those are, or they can put them on their board for you. Okay? To access those, we're going to come over here with the image selected. Come over here, and this is our output module over here. This is going to tell you everything that the laser is going to be doing. Right now, I only have one output, which is my scanned bitmap. And I'm going to double click right here, and that's going to open up the parameters. So I've got a speed of 300 going right now. For Camel's Hump Middle School, we're going to leave it at this. Browns River, you guys go faster, so you're probably going to bump that to 400. Power settings, Camel's Hump Middle School, we're going to be anywhere between like 15 and 25 right here. Browns River, you're probably going to have your other numbers. Check the resource, the laser engraved sample that Mr. Keating has for you that will show you what all the different powers look like in gradients from 15 to 25, and you can choose how deep you want to engrave. For sake of it, I'm just going to go 20s for all of these. Get these done, and all of these need to be 20. From top to bottom, we're going to double check, is output? This means, is it going to happen? We want yes. If you click no right here, well, nothing's going to happen. So we want yes. Speed is 300. We want it blowing. We want it scanning. 20s all around here. Ignore this box. Click OK. All right, you're almost done. One more step, though, and this next step's an important one. So right now, this is your cutting board, and this is your engraving. But if I click the preview button right here, all I'm going to see is the engraving getting engraved. You can see it going pink right there. And that's great. It's working. It's doing what it needs to do. X this out. But I need to know from a machining point of view how big your cutting board is, and more importantly, where the perimeter of your cutting board is. So here's what we're going to do. Follow my mouse. Come over here and grab onto a square tool, box tool. Start up in your upper right corner right here, just barely inside of your line. Okay? Click and drag a box that goes all the way around your board and stays just inside of the perimeter line. Okay? I'm going to click that, drop it off. Now select that box and center it on your board. Okay, we're just going to make sure that it is precisely where it wants to be. Okay? I'm going to do that one more time for you. Center it. Okay? Now, you're going to notice now you have a second line over here. We've still got the scanning engraving, which is going to be your image, and then we've got this cut line. So what you guys just did is you just told the laser, okay, now once you're done with this, I literally want you to cut this box out. Now, we don't want to cut that box out. So double click this. Set this speed to 300, but set the power to 0. This is important. You want this as a yes right here. 300 speed, 0 power. So what we've just done, if you click on the preview, now we have an engraving, plus we have a defined perimeter that matches the edge of your cutting board. This is going to be critical for the setup process in the laser engraver when this is happening. So when you're running your final preview, this is what you should see. If you see this with the box around it, your speed and powers are set up correctly, at this point it is time to call your teacher over for the export phase and getting to the laser engraver. Hope this was helpful.